taking early levels and chains and then being able to combo that with Marana arrows. Those have felt to be the storyline so far. Winter, who do you feel like needs to make the changes here for Game 3?
More so on, I think, Leviathan though. Like EWolves, both games they've been looking to assert their dominance in the early game. It was just like the last game where Leviathan tried something out of the blue. I guess it's not really out of the blue because they use Pudge all the time, but it didn't work out that game. So I think Leviathan just has to go back to some normal standard play, like something more in the sense like better lineups that work, that has a much easier room of execution, because Pudge is very difficult to execute well.
Well, maybe also heroes that I guess Pudge is very high game impact. I was going to say heroes that have high game impact, but maybe something like a Clockwork, or maybe something like that Darkseer that we've seen. I do believe that Darkseer was banned out in the last game, so thinking that was going to be the best option for them at that point in time, but still really excited, and so far starting off fairly normal. Winter Wyvern going to be picked up, as well as a Queen of Pain for EWolves, and not really, these are heroes that I feel like we see fairly often in this meta.
Yeah, but in this particular series, we actually don't see anyone trying to pick Brood. Like every series is different though. I think like the meta is different between every team. Like different matches they have their own distinct meta. Like certain teams would be fighting over Brood, certain teams would be fighting over maybe a Slardar or Shadowfiend. Like whoever is on Radiant would always pick Shadowfiend, or certain teams will always be fighting over Dazzle. I think every matchup has their own distinct meta where they actually prioritize their own heroes. So in this series, we have been seeing the Wyvern and Queen of Pain, heroes that have been appearing all time and time again in the first phase.
Yeah, and taking their time with the second one as well. We'll see what it ends up going.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
there's
thinking
a lot of different options.
They're thinking a lot because they want to pick either Darkseer or Ember. If they pick Ember, then Leviathan has the Darkseer plus Wyvern. But then again, if they go for the Darkseer here, then Leviathan could potentially snag the Ember for themselves. Like Ember is a hero that has been top priority in most of the games recently.
Yeah, and he really made his impact felt in that last one. I think one of the best parts about Ember is his ability to sort of take over a game by being able to have a big impact while not having a ton of farm in the mid game. Whenever I think about this hero, I sort of compare him to Gyrocopter in that you're able to do a lot with just levels, and then late game you're really able to accentuate that by just creating a ton of AoE damage through your physical attacks and Sleight of Fist, of course. But Lich is going to be the option for EWolves, and then they're going to take on out the Ember Spirit for Team Leviathan. So kind of a cool combo here.
Lich worked out well for them last game, so they're going back to the same thing. But I'm just worried that what they give up for the Lich might not be worth it. And right now, I could see EWolves have to take out the Darkseer. If they give away Darkseer, Wyvern plus Ember, the combination of heroes are way too good for Leviathan. And I don't really see EWolves wanting to actually pick the Darkseer in their lineup with the Lich. They probably want something that has more carry potential with the Lich on the offlane. So yeah, I think they might actually want to, even though they have first pick here, but I think if they don't want to pick it, they should always ban it against when the opponent has the Ember plus the Wyvern.
Well, you mentioned Shadowfiend as well as one of the heroes that you could potentially see the Radiant picking up. That one going to be banned out. So now it's kind of a dangerous situation because, you know, obviously the Darkseer needs to be banned out, but these other heroes as well that have these huge impacts, we're still going to have, who are a couple of the other ones? Tusk is still going to be in the pool as well for Team Leviathan if they wanted to run that, and that on its own is a pretty dangerous combo as well, just being able to have a Tusk catch somebody else. You've got the Winter Wyvern in there as well. I feel like that's another hero that could have a really big game impact. We'll see what they end up coming with, but Darkseer's still in the pool. Any other heroes that you're really concerned about that Team Leviathan could go for?
Not much though. I think Darkseer particularly works the best with the current two picks that Leviathan have, the Ember and the Wyvern. I mean, if they can play Brook, obviously Brook is also a good hero that might actually be dangerous towards, because Lich doesn't do anything. Okay, Lich doesn't do anything to Brood. I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess Team Leviathan does play Brood because I'm not so sure how often they actually play the hero.
Yeah. Oh, and with the it seems like it's one of those things that if you do end up running into a Brood, like Sure, you could say that the Darkseer might have been the better ban out there, potentially, but I feel like a Brood is one of those heroes that can completely destroy the way that you want to play your game. You have to all of a sudden really focus so much more on this one hero, and then that creates problems and so much space around the rest of the map for you that I think that if it's probably a gameplay thing, I would imagine, versus just sort of being super concerned about an individual player, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Brood is always the hero that you don't really want to lose, like by forgetting to ban the hero, because you think that the opponent doesn't play the hero well. But I think right now, I don't really feel that they can pick the Darkseer into this line. I'm not sure. Maybe they still want to pick the Darkseer, but Lich plus Darkseer is not an ideal lane, on the off lane. And when you have Lich, generally you want to help the off lane most of the time. That's when Lich functions very well as a hero.
Gyrocopter going to be the option. Another very big team fighty hero. You have I think a nice little combination of skill sets that can come in together and start working for a lot of damage. The Darkseer is going to be picked up for Leviathan now. So this is a matchup that I don't think is the worst in the world for Gyrocopter. You're going to be able to a certain extent, burst down those ion shelled up creeps, maybe keep the lane a little bit pushed out. I guess it depends also who they put in that lane with the Gyro.
It's not the lane that's like most worrying. You can put a Rubik there with the Gyro to deal with the Darkseer, so you lift the Darkseer into the Rocket Barrage and you kill him in the lane. I mean, you can do that, but the bigger issue is when it comes to 10 minutes in the game, 8 minutes in the game. Ember is level 7, 4 points in Flame Guard. He TPs to the off lane. Darkseer puts a shell on the Ember. Ember just dives your Gyro. Your Gyro is gonna die. Yeah. Unless you have a defensive support like a Dazzle or whatever. Conquer.
Alright. I love this hero.
Is this a support? Do they play this hero as a support or off lane?
I couldn't actually tell you, to be completely and totally honest. I feel like he also has the potential to go in a dual off lane with Lich to a certain extent.
Yep.
The hero's relatively versatile in terms of what he's able to do, and it does sort of create another situation where you're able to find that long range initiation, depending upon how good you are with your X torrent combo.
It's good versus the Ember. It's really good versus that.
5 seconds.
And in team fights, you could somewhat counteract the Winter's Curse because you can provide the damage reduction with your Ghost Ship. So it's a pretty good hero versus the Wyvern.
Yeah. We'll see how it ends up working out for him. Certainly something that's very interesting. It doesn't necessarily feel like this is going to be super much about the Tidebringer ability. It definitely feels like this Kunkka is meant more for the utility role here.
The team fight. It's the 4 heroes they have right now from EWolves just screams team fight. They want to just go to your tower and take a fight against 5 heroes and drop all their spells and they kill everyone. That's their heroes right now. And for Leviathan, it's more about trying to split them up. Use the Ember to split them up, and you have Wyvern and Iron Shell and Creeps to actually make sure that the waves are always pushed out. So when you split the EWolves lineup around the map and you use the Iron Shell and Ember to get pickoffs left and right. And now they even have Lina, they even have more spam, Lina, they pick Lina into their lineup, so they have more ways of pushing the creep waves back and clearing the wave away so that they can actually find time for Ember Spirit with the Iron Shell to get pickoffs on the map. I could see this still working for Leviathan. Like, both of the teams have very different strategies going into the game.
Well, we'll see how it ends up turning out and which strategy is able to pay off. I think these 2 heroes also definitely would have complemented those 2 strategies. Mirana, obviously, with the initiation there, being able to have it with the Moonlight Shadow, and then, of course, Bounty Hunter, the king of pickoffs constantly, and Enchantress. What a lineup that we've got going here out of Elite Wolves. Certainly going to want to be able to...
I think it's off-lane Enchantress, though. Like, Enchantress plus Lich, you have Untouchable plus the armor. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Sounds awful for the opponent.
Yeah, this is definitely looking to be very scary. I will say that with the Lina already in the draft, do you think that this Lina is going to go mid then?
Hard to say though. You can still run Lina as a support. You can lane very well with the Ember. Like Lina plus Ember, you can have a lot of kill potential in the lane. So we'll have to see what is the last hero from Leviathan before we actually can know what lanes are going to be for them.
Well, I feel like the one downside of this sort of dual offlane with the Lich Enchantress is they are relatively squishy, and potentially being able to deal out another magical damage hero. You really can't try and get into a right-click war with Enchantress, particularly when you got the Lich armor on top of you. So I'm wondering if they're going to end up picking something else, like maybe Witch Doctor or a Crystal Maiden or somebody else with some nukes here and a little bit of catch. Because the other thing is, all right, Lion is who they end up going for. I think that's pretty good. That's a good amount of the ability to catch the Earth Spike, as well as a decent amount of damage as you level that up.
Oh, it's actually going to be a mid conquer.
Oh my goodness!
Wait, Masoko is he the support player?
I believe so. Yes.
So it's going to be a jungling enchantress, a mid conquer, off lane Queen of Pain.
Interesting.
With Lich, and Gyro is going to solo.
I guess against the Darkseer, it's not the worst thing in the world, right?
Wait, let me check. Who is actually the offlane player? I can't remember. Is Van the offlane player?
No, Van is the safe lane player.
Safe lane. So it's Lich plus. Oh yeah, I remember this guy. Bake is actually the offlane player. So they're going to run Lich plus Queen of Pain again, the same lanes from the last game. Yeah. But surprisingly, the Gyro is going to be left alone though.
Yeah.
Unless the Enchantress, he needs to rely on the Enchantress to help him a lot in the lane. This would actually mean that Darkseer might have a really good time in the off lane because of the setup.
Yeah. We'll see how it ends up going. Obviously, Darkseer, while he can provide a lot of setup for you, and we've talked about this many times in this game, if the damage is not there from the rest of your team, you're not really going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot as a Darkseer. I think the Lina is probably going to, once you end up getting 6 on the Lina, you need to be so careful on the Enchantress. Just going to be able to get bursted down with a quickness. I will also mention TPing on down to the bottom lane and warding on up the pull camp. Always nice to see that one. And also a dire ward over here on the other hard camp to make sure there's no side pulls coming out.
Yep. He just wants to make sure that there's no side camps for the Enchantress because he knows that it's a support Enchantress. If the Enchantress gets a really good creep on the side, it's going to be troublesome for him in the lane. So he decides to block that off. And for the Wolves as well, they just want to make sure that the Lion doesn't get easy experience from pulling camps, but he does have a sentry though. So we'll see whether he actually gets both the wards out of the way so that he can actually make pulls happen in the lane.
I'm getting ready to come and contest this rune here. I don't really think that they're going to be able to super effectively. The Queen of Pain offlane certainly changes this dynamic a little bit more, I feel like, of this safe lane. Lion is still going to be pretty great at being able to catch, but all of a sudden the slows coming out from the Winter Wyvern don't really do a whole heck of a lot. And I feel like to a certain extent you're just going to need to be able to take Cold Embrace and keep your carry alive, and not really a whole lot else in this lane to a flying Zebra.
Yeah, this lane is gonna. I feel this thing is gonna be tough though. It might be tough for the Ember to farm with the double range heroes in the lane, and with the Lich. So we'll see how the other lanes go for. If they are able to actually maybe rotate the Wyvern to help the other lanes, maybe get a kill. Because if you look at the setup of the other lanes, like Lina versus Conquer, if a rotation from a Wyvern happens, they have a really good chance of getting a kill on the Conquer with the Lina. So I could see that happening for Leviathan, where they actually put the Wyvern into a more offensive position where you try to roam around.
Well, yeah, and it seems like this lane, it's going to be, as you mentioned, very hard to do that type of play. I will also mention the Enchantress, probably the wild card here, and it depends a lot upon which creep she ends up getting. Does have the wild wing off to the side here in the medium camp, so it's going to be able to stack on up camps and just try and do the best she can to level on up. It's
not only about what creep she gets, it's how she wants to use it. Like at this point, some players would actually get, like you see Puppy, he sees this mana burn creep, he enchants the mana burn creep, sends it to the middle lane and just keeps harassing the middle lane. Like some of the players would actually do that instead of like what you see from Mosuku here is just focusing on his own development as a hero. He just wants to get levels, wants to get farm. It's more selfish. Whereas some other Enchantress players like Puppy would put a lot of emphasis in winning the lanes by sacrificing your own farm and time to do it.
Well, the flip side of that also, I would imagine, is that Enchantress has been getting more and more buffs to become a very strong late game damage dealer. So maybe the hope is to win the lanes a little bit early if you feel confident in the rest of your team's ability to at least hold out throughout the lanes. But as you mentioned, it does become a little bit more difficult. I'm really excited to see this come.
I think it's a trade-off that he's making as well, because he's doing this.
Queen of Pain is going to end up going down here. It looks like one more right click should be enough with the Lion and the Winter Wyvern there. Sorry, what were you saying there, Winter?
Yeah, but because they are doing this, the Darkseer is having quite a good time on the offlane. He doesn't have a lot of CS, but he has a lot of levels, and Gyro's gonna have to burn a lot of regen in the lane as well. And he started out with boots as well, so doesn't have a whole lot of regen in his arsenal. So we'll see how everything pans out, whether the greedy play from the Enchantress pays off at the end of the
bottom lane, Queen of Pain goes down again. Looks like Lich might as well. A really solid Cold Embrace kept the Lion alive through the tick damage, and it looks like the salve might be enough to keep the Lich alive. It is, and he's just going to be able to walk away from this one. Not having boots, but Lich is a pretty fast hero in his own right.
Yeah, they were really aggressive at bottom lane. It seems trying to commit into too much, and now comes the Enchantress to allow them to play even more aggressive. They really want to shut down this Ember in the lane.
Yeah, they definitely want to be able to, but so far haven't been able to make it happen. I mean, Lich passively on his own just already deals a pretty significant economic blow to this lineup, but
to a certain extent, sometimes you feel when you have the Lich in the lane, you don't really want to be aggressive because, like you mentioned, even if nothing is happening, you are already slowing him down. But when you try to make a move, there's always a risk that you make a mistake and you lose a hero and you give everything back.
And if you take a look right now, currently Ember's been able to get a decent amount in this lane. A little bit behind the Gyrocopter, who hasn't really been pressured too much. He's been having the lane consistently pushed up in his face, but still has been able to CS pretty effectively, 17 and 12. But with the rotation coming on in now, a surged on up Lion could spell doom if he's not careful. Is going to go back behind the tower now and should be okay.
He's going to place a lane ward. But he's still level 2.
Mid lane smash. Taking a good amount of right click, but should be able to make his way out of there. Yeah, he doesn't have the most stuff so far. MGod getting a little bit far out forward, is able to kill out the Ember Spirit, and now might be able to end up falling here as well with the rotations from the Darkseer. That's going to be a dead Lich, but kind of worth it to be able to take out that Ember Spirit every day, I feel like.
Yeah, it's worth it. You trade a support for carry, it's always worth it. And you're slowing down the Ember once more. He's really having a rough time though. It seems like he wants to change his lane. He's going top. He doesn't want to be in the Lich. He doesn't want to lane with the Lich.
Alright, well, kind of fair, I would imagine. Darkseer is going to move on forward and just sort of run at the Queen of Pain pretty consistently here. Looks like Kunkka's been able to do okay so far, just under the Lina in terms of net worth, and in a matchup that's a little bit difficult. You know, you have to be able to dodge away those Dragon Slays while simultaneously not taking too much right-click harassment. Excuse me, sorry about that one. Darkseer able to get a kill on the Queen of Pain. Combination of that, I don't even know.
Her blink is probably on cooldown. Mid lane, Shibi is gonna go down from the gank, but he takes down the Kunkka first with the Laguna.
Everywhere, all over this map, just action is happening. You take a look at that fight recap, a nice little 500 gold swing into their favor, and looking to get aggressive all over again. This has not been something that I guess we were super expecting, but given the previous games that were relatively aggressive, it seems somewhat natural between these two squads wanting to really pressure each other and test their endurance in this early stage of this game.
It's still panning out okay for them. Enchantress is getting a lot of fun from the jungle, and all their cores are doing very well except for the Queen that went down twice. Yeah.
3 heroes up here in the top lane. Darkseer as well as the Lion do end up getting an Earth Spike off to keep a little bit of more separation there. The Enchantress Hellbear Smasher was getting a little bit fresh there with the Lion and wanted to surge him away.
The score might be 5-2, but EWolves are still ahead in terms of experience because of having a jungling hero and Lich. So it's still okay for them. Goal wise, it's still fairly even. So they're still looking in a really good spot, playing the very greedy Enchantress in the jungle.
Oh, and the Kunkka now does also have the 1 point in Torrent, 2 points in X, excuse me, and the 2 points in Tidebringer. So trying to go for that maximum initiation distance in terms of being able to set up his combo, the reliable option as opposed to just going straight for Torrents and the Ghost Ship. But looks like they're going to be pretty ready for this one with the Observer Ward right over here to the side. They're going to be able to keep eyes on him consistently and don't really expect to get any type of kills in this lane with 3 heroes sitting mid. Although, yeah, going to kill the Hellbear Smasher there as well. It's pretty good for Lina. diving behind tower now. Up top, Van just going to create a little bit more pressure over here to the side. Is going to end up TPing away off to the side as well. The wall did get dropped as well as another ion shell, but not going to be able to get that kill. Meanwhile, bottom lane, yet again, this is going to be the Queen of Pain getting caught out. A lot of damage being expended, and that is going to be another key kill. Winter Wyvern picking that one up. Already level 5 now. Back in the mid lane, this is going to be M-God in a little bit of trouble. The ghost ship's coming in after the fact. That's going to hit onto Shibby. Smash is still pretty low. That came close to getting the kill, and the Lich with the turnaround. Very nicely done. I didn't think they were going to be able to get that one.
Yeah, he just managed to bait the Lina out to try and kill him. Like Smash stayed around to actually try to buy some space for his Lich to actually get another secondary Frost Blast onto the Lina. So well played, and he managed to stay at the edge of the AOE for the Dragon Slave as well. So managed to bait Shibi into a bad position there and securing his team another extra kill from it.
Very nicely done.
Wow, they place. I expected them to place the ward much deeper, but it's still a ward in the enemy territory. It's still something that you want to achieve when you smoke into the enemy jungle.
Alright, there's the X on top of the Lion. Might be seeing if they can potentially get the dive here with 4 other heroes in the area, 3 rather. They're going to get jumped forward. Enchantress Heal is coming out. There's the call down. So much damage on top of this Lion. Is he actually going to be able to live through this? I feel like he might be able to. There's the Torrent coming out as well. And yeah, he does end up going down. The Enchantress Hellbear Smasher dives deep for the kill. Looks like Ember's going to come to clean that one up at the end. Key components, though. Top lane. This has made enough room for the Darkseer to push on down the top tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, all other towers still standing.
Yeah, it was still a really good trade for Leviathan. Like you mentioned, they managed to get a tower, and Darkseer got a ton of space from that as well. We haven't really seen the Ember plus Darkseer combination come into play because Ember has been really struggling in his lane and he hasn't even popped level 6 yet. So maybe in the near future we'll start to see the power of that combination.
Yeah. Well, I feel it's starting to feel like there isn't necessarily a clear advantage here, but as we were mentioning, just sort of play style differences and who's able to more
bottom lane
execute their. Oh god, this is really too bad. There's this Torrent coming on in as well as the boat. That is a super dead Ember Spirit. Really nicely done. They committed a lot, but honestly, the boat's on a pretty low cooldown. The only real thing is the Queen of Pain ulti.
Boat is just like cooldown. Like for every kill you pop it because it's like 1 minute.
Yeah.
I think we see this like it was also a very traditional combo. It was like back 2 years ago or 3 years ago, like the Chinese teams like to run Gyro plus Conquer on the same team because you can keep constantly fighting with your ultimates.
Yeah.
And both are running the Ember plus Mirana combo the last game, which is something that is very popular back in the day as well. So they're going back to their roots.
Yeah, a little bit of kicking it old school coming on out here. Kunkka able to last hit the tower with the illusion as he TPs away. Doesn't get a whole lot better than that, honestly. So 3 levels in X right now, supplementing this with only 2 points in Tidebringer. This is really the super battle Kunkka coming out, not really about the crazy right-click damage that you sometimes seen, but instead just trying to make sure that he's consistently able to find the initiation angle and get the solid team fight that they want started.
It's the same as his Ember play the last game. He plays it more of an initiating role, and Masuko, is he gonna be able to live?
I think so, just going on up to the high ground, up above the steps, and then walking away from that one, no big deal. Bottom lane, Queen of Pain up against the Ember Spirit, gonna toss on out that dagger and just stare at him across the creep wave. What do you want to do, Ember? I'm a Queen of Pain.
You trying to farm, bro?
Exactly. That's so frustrating.
He's gonna pop his level 6, so maybe he's gonna move to the Darkseer's lane soon to kill the Gyro. We still haven't seen that happen for them.
They definitely need to do that, and I guess that's probably why this Ember is pretty content to just be sitting here and not trying to farm it on.
Did they spot the smoke with the ward? I'm not sure though. I wasn't paying attention. There was a ward there when they
It's hard to tell. Oh, Winter's Curse down on top of the Queen of Pain. We do also have the Hex follow-up. We have another stun in just a second. I don't think that's going to be enough, though. TPs, or excuse me, the rest of the rotations are coming in. Call down is going to catch. No, not quite Flying Zebra. He is going to end up getting killed, though. Tit from the... which is going to be enough to secure that one. And EWolves finding the kills that they need to do, but it all's in the Winter Wyvern as opposed to the Ember. I still think they're okay with that, though.
Yeah, and it was a 4-man rotation, so I mean, if someone has to die, you'd rather the supports die instead of the carry.
Definitely.
So the Conker has been doing his TP X mark thing as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, refilling the bottles and whatnot. It's going to go into a drums, so just playing the Conker as a...
M-God is going to end up getting caught out here. A lot of damage coming out very quickly if he's not careful, and that Lich is super dead. It's not what you want to have happen. Oh, Light Strike Array mid lane onto Smash yet again. He does have a boat back up. This is going to give him that extra debuff to make sure that he stays alive a little bit longer. EWolves Scepter down yet again. We do have another Light Strike Array tossed on out. Laguna Blade is still the follow, but that boat buff is just so strong. Able to just walk away from it like it ain't no thing. Maybe the turnaround going to be able to take down Shibby. Are you kidding me? That's the power of that boat buff from, oh god, in the bottom lane as well. They're going to be able to find the Ember. So pickoffs across the map and Laguna Blade used as well. Oh man, Winter.
Well, he actually died because he doesn't have a TP. Seriously?
Jeez.
Oh well, that's why you get a TP, I guess. It's very hard for Ember to die in this sort of scenario, so you put a remnant behind like somewhere, and then if you get in trouble, you just jump to your remnant and you TP out. I don't know, I'm not sure.
Unfortunate.
I wasn't paying attention, but I think he doesn't have a TP.
Well, it might have actually gotten interrupted. That's the other potential possibility, because he did remnant off.
Nah, the heroes that were killing him was the Enchantress and the Queen, though. No one has done.
That's a good point. All right, well, just giving him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see. Enchantress level 7 now does have that level and impetus, so as well as the urn, which is very frustrating. That is the X marks the spots on back for Smash, fully healed as well as a full bottle ready to go. They are going to run right on into the Lion over here. Tosses on out an Earth Spike. He's going to end up getting caught now, though. Oh, maybe one time? Not going to be able to make it happen. You went for the Torrent first instead. Back in the mid lane over here, that is going to be another kill on top of the Queen of Pain by the Lina. 4 heroes still in the area. They might try and push down this tower a little bit. I don't know if they want to do this without the Queen of Pain around, though. Like, the boat buff is great and all, but it's still a little bit scary. There goes the Torrent, as well as the boat combo coming on out. Darkseer dead at the very beginning of it. Kunkka is going to be able to get that one. Meanwhile, off to the side as well, Van gets caught out by the Winter's Curse. No follow-up at this point in time, and it looks like they're going to be able to take down this Winter Wyvern in just a second. Does have another Rocket Barrage up, waiting for it. Torrent comes down as well on top of him. Shibby stuck in the creep wave here by the Siege creep that got enchanted. Is going to be able to EWolves to keep him alive a little bit longer, and I don't think that they're going to be able to find that kill. Looks like they might even be able to take on down this Enchantress. Only one level and untouchable. There's the Torrent trying to create a little bit of extra separation, but the Enchantress does die for the Darkseer as well as the Winter Wyvern.
That was just their lineup. Team fight. Yeah. They could just take the fight even they have one hero like one hero down because of so much damage from each of their heroes. Chain Force, Call Down. They didn't even have the Sonic Wave for that fight. They didn't need to use it, they still won the fight.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts that ended up happening that way. I feel like at this point in time, Leviathan need to be able, like, they're still waiting for a couple of items maybe. Ember's trying to farm on down there. Oh god, ends up hitting the Torrent onto the Ember yet again and Xing him on back. Why not? They do have a EWolves Scepter up on the Queen of Pain. There's the boat. It's going to connect onto 2, maybe? No, only onto 1. That's the Lina. Pretty good hero to hit onto. Sonic Wave as well as the call down. 2 heroes dead. Lion and the Lina. Another Torrent ends up connecting onto Jenkins. Iron Shell or not, he's going to end up falling, and meanwhile the Impetus is flying Zebra DotA, trying to create any type of escape that he possibly can, but he's gonna fall. 4 heroes dead for nothing. Oh, and Ember Spirit can only look on in horror as the rest of his team falls apart. Goodness gracious.
It's way past the point where the Ember plus the Iron Shell are strong. They've passed their window. Right now they can't really take any fights anymore because they are way weaker than EWolves in team fight department. They just had so much AoE in the fights. Even if you land a Winter's Curse, you don't really have enough damage to win the fight. You can kill one hero with the Laguna, but that's about it. Lion is still not even level 6 yet. At 16 minutes. They need a lot of more levels on their supports to be able to do more damage in team fights. But I feel like going into team fights is not a good idea for Leviathan anymore now. They should just try to make the most out of split pushing and trying to regain some experience and goal that they actually are behind right now.
Well, and it's worth noting as well, Van is really starting to come online here. 6,100 net worth, going to be able to finish off these extra stack of Ancients. He does already have the Yasha finished off, as well as the Mask of Death, so might be going for that. Looks like he's going to be going for the Sanjin Yasha finish off before taking out the Helm of the Dominator next. But Smash, I think really, honestly, he's been the key component that's been able to make this little lineup work here. Like, the fact that they went for this fighting lineup, and then he went, instead of taking more points in Tidebringer, for more points in X, that way he could find that long-range initiation and then get the boat buff on top of him. It's consistently been able to turn the tide of these team fights. Just so many torrents hit, so many boats hit. Really, really good.
Yeah, they're just playing him like the last game. He initiates and does whatever first move that his team needs, and the team will just do their damage. So I think it's fine to play the Conquer like this when they have a lineup where, like, who has the stuns? Like, he's the only one that can start the fight.
M-God is going to be able to come on over here to the side. We do have a Lion Finger in just a second, but the Torrent's going to end up interrupting it. He's going to end up falling there off to the side. It looks like they might be able to follow this up with either a Winter Wyvern or an Ember kill, potentially. I don't think that they catch the Ember. He does still have a Remnant on up and is going to be able to make his way out of there. Oh, actually, never mind. X marks the spot, as well as the Torrent. Everything else, oh, he's able to get away from that one. Really well played.
Yeah,
nice
he dodges
dodge.
the pull by flying around with the straight, so that was well played by him.
Not the easiest thing in the world to land, absolutely. And 5K net worth now into the lead of EWolves, as well as about 7,500 EXP roughly. They're looking very, very solid. And grouping up right now, you mentioned it a couple of times. I'm not sure if this is the play necessarily. I guess the gyrocopter's down and Boat isn't going to be back up for another 15 seconds. Smash might be caught out a little bit here. Chain's onto 2. He gets turned into a frog yet again. We do have a Chain Frost getting tossed out there. Vacuum wall, but is there enough follow-up? That's the real question. Smash is just going to be able to run away from this one. No, Ember Spirit runs him down. Darkseer, meanwhile, able to take down the Enchantress. And looks like they might be able to catch onto this Queen of Pain. Chains again. Are the right clicks going to be there in time and enough? Oh, the homing missile. That's actually a dead Ember Spirit. He did buy out on the drums before he ended up going down. Off to the side now as well. The Lich getting ran down by the Darkseer. Another call down ends up hitting onto Jenkins. Rocket Barrage is out, but there is the Surge away and should be able to make his way out of there potentially. They thought about turning on the gyrocopter for a second.
That was weird though. They took the fight without the gyro, and they lost 3 heroes for 1 Ember. I'm not sure though.
They also took it without the boat.
Yeah, why would they want to fight? Maybe they're just too confident, because the last time they took a fight with 4 heroes and they won, but that was without someone else. It wasn't without the gyro. Gyro is one of the
Quap.
Yeah, gyro is one of the bigger damage source in the team fights for them.
Well, we'll see how they end up responding to this one. Certainly a bit of a potentially curious play. They end up getting a cut into their lead. 2,500 is their lead now for EWolves.
Not a good play. That was not a good play for them, for sure. They could have just waited and just reinitiated and just everything is safe. You know, when you have 5 heroes, your team fight is just much better. Why do it with 4 heroes when you can have 5?
I guess the other thing is they did just finish off the Quap Aghanim, so maybe they thought they could last a little bit longer. It was only about 15 seconds before Kunkka had his boat back up.
Yeah, it's no reason not to wait. You know, I don't know. I feel like it's bad not to wait. It's it's a similar thing like the first game where they made a hasty decision without waiting for the Tusk to get a mech and without waiting for one of their ultimates to come back off cooldown.
Yeah, that's a good point. It definitely becomes a little bit. It's sort of something that I feel like it harkens back to what you were talking about earlier about players going a little bit on tilt at various points in time and just wanting to make the most of it. And but nonetheless, they've still been able to come out to a good lead. They take down another tower. They're ready to fight again if they want to. Smash is about to potentially go ham. Does catch onto the Winter Wyvern. This is a great hero to be able to get initially. There's the boat. He immediately falls on down. Lina activates the haste rune, just trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. And looks like they won't be able to find any follow-up kills. I think this is really good by Leviathan right now. Just you take your losses. You lost the Winter Wyvern. All right, fine. Let's let it go.
They didn't even get the tower, so it was not very good for them. And at least their lineup, like the EWolves lineup, is not able to actually do Roshan easily. So like usually when something like this happens, they can actually transition into the Rosh, but because of their lineup this game, it's difficult for them to get Roshan.
I guess my point here is that, like, if you know that you're going to already lose the team fight and your Winter Wyvern is down, it's not really worth it to try and force the issue any further and then end up, like, losing a huge team fight.
You should always be doing that. But the less experienced teams are always making a lot of hasty decisions and overextending a lot. Like, both of the teams we saw in this series, they've been making a lot of plays that could have been avoided
definitely. Smash now does have his Blink Dagger up as well, so ready to make plays across the map. It is worth noting his farm hasn't really been accelerating a ton, mainly because, as we've been talking about, he's been taking on that initiation role as opposed to the going for massive amounts of damage and fighting. Sometimes you see that like Battle Fury or something. Looks like also Kunkka's going to try and pick on up the Quap's bottle as well, so refills not only his own but hers as well. So a nice little play there. Always something cool to see with the Kunkka, and I don't think he's had to go back to base really and stay there at all throughout the whole course of this game almost. Got so much sustain with that little trick.
High ground, I guess.
Maybe.
Are they going high ground? They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it.
Oh, they got the little 2 shard golems as well, so a couple of nice stuns that can get tossed out at any given point in time. They're going to clear it on out with the Hellbear Smasher. With this Enchantress up here as well, I mean, you've got a lot of ability to push down these towers. Those creeps do end up going, and they're going to be content with just 400 gold taken away. This is going to be Shibby with an Invis rune. Hopefully going to try and find somebody, but the movement speed, maybe going to reinitiate here. Oh god, Light Strike Array could be huge if they're able to hit it. There's the Ember Spirit getting hit. Oh god, really big vacuum wall though. They get the ship, but it's a little bit late at this point in time. A lot of damage has been dealt. I think it's still going to be okay. The Enchantress did fall, and now looks like the rest of Leviathan might end up falling if they're not careful. Yeah, so the Enchantress, the only one who ended up dying at the end of all of that. That was a pretty good initiation by Leviathan.
That was actually a miscommunication though. He vacuumed and the Lina actually didn't stun on time. If they got the stun right after the vacuum, I think they would have probably won that fight, because the heroes wouldn't be able to actually react by dropping their spells. That's why the Wyvern couldn't come up, because they actually reacted on time. They gave them half a second to react, and the stun only landed on 2 heroes instead of 3. He vacuumed 3 heroes. I think they would have just destroyed that fight if they vacuum and stun and Winter's Curse on it. They would have just destroyed the fight.
Well, and I mentioned there as well the fact that, you know, the Kunkka was able to get the a lot of. He was able to toss out his boat, but it was after the first salvo of hits.
That was because they didn't land the combo right. If they vacuum and stun immediately, Kunkka will not be able to drop his boat there. He would have died instantly. So that was a big mistake from Leviathan, not getting the combos right. They gave like half a second too long, and there was enough time for Wolves to actually react and drop their boat. The boat was the key thing that actually won them the fight, being able to drop the boat.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they're in a pretty good position right now yet again. Like you mentioned, though, EWolves not really having a great way to take Mr. Roshan. I mean, obviously Untouchable is pretty good at being able to take it, but only 2 levels in it kind of means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And also, there's not really a ton of minus armor or any on this team. I mean, I guess also the Frost armor's there, but I'm curious what is going to be the point where they're actually able to make use of it. This is going to be a long-range initiation. If he gets the backup in time, this X can hit from here. Does end up going straight for the boat instead. Does end up hitting there onto it. Sonic Wave out as well, and might be able to get the kill. Nicely done. The X coming in at the last second. That was actually the key point right there, because if he remnants away before the X, he's dead no matter what. But really nice play there by Smash.
Yep, they got a very key pick off again. The Ember is just really poor in this game. You don't usually see the Embers being really poor. He got shot down so hard this game. Doesn't even have any items apart from his bots and drums.
Yeah, those past couple offs, the fact that they've been able to find him and take him out, and also the fact that he hasn't really been able to be a part of a ton of kills, I think has really been a key component to why this hasn't been working as well for them as they might want. Smash, they're almost able to connect with the homing missile as well. His TP away, he wanted to go for that torrent, wasn't quite able to make it happen, and now the homing missile is going to chase him until the end of the earth. Shouldn't really be a problem though. Lion's still saving for his Blink Dagger as well. He needs a bit more gold. I feel like all of Leviathan is just a little bit underfarmed at this point in time in terms of what they really need.
Yeah, they need more farm on their heroes. They just need to be able to buy more time. I think they should just keep doing that. I've been talking about this like maybe 10 minutes ago. I think it's still the same plan for them. They just need to keep avoiding fights, only taking fights which they are truly certain that it's a free pick-off. Try not to take head-on fights.
Yeah. Once again, this is the lower bracket, so the loser of this game is going to be out of the qualifiers for the North American Summit 4 set of qualifiers here, and you definitely want to be able to play this one carefully. You don't want to try and rush it too much. I have to say, it's pretty bold of EWolves here to be going for this Kunkka pick that we talked about at the late stages of this game, a hero that's definitely not a part of the current meta, and it's really pretty cool to see that type of play there. Shibby? Like, they're all sitting over in the jungle here. They're ready to jump on top of somebody. It looks like they're going to wait and go for Roshan instead. Maybe? Maybe not? I don't know.
It takes too long for them to rush. They don't even have medallion, I think.
Yeah.
No. I don't think they can do rush. There's no way they do rush with this lineup. Unless Gyro gets more items. It takes too long for them to do the rush. They're gonna get split push a lot if they do rush.
Well, and already the top lane's pushed all the way out to their tier 3 tower, and you kind of imagine that Leviathan knows what's going on here. And obviously, of course, we've talked about the Darkseer being a key component of this lineup here for Leviathan. Great hero to be able to mess around in the Roche pit with. You just, vacuum people up to the high ground as well. It's scary. Oh, this is pretty cool right here. Queen of Pain gonna jump on in, toss out a Scream of Pain, and then get X'd on back to the Roche pit. I like that.
She wanted to refill the bottle as well. She was running back to base, but couldn't get the refill off. But look at this Roche, it's taking them so long.
Yeah, it is. Do you feel like Leviathan can contest this at all? Do they realize this is happening? Okay.
They can't. I don't think they know what's going on. If they knew what's going on, they would be just pushing top.
Okay. Well, as soon as that ends up coming, they do realize what's going on now, are going to have to back on out. Feels like this really does sort of embolden EWolves to try and take a fight now and really make the most of this next engagement. Obviously, by the next time they're going to have a Roshan up, they're going to have a few more items that are going to make this easier to take, but would love to be able to make the most out of this one.
Yeah, it's still the same plan from Leviathan though. They don't really have good vision the last time, that's why they are not very sure if Roshan is being done, so they couldn't really take advantage of that situation to do a lot of tower damage at top.
Ooh, 3-man smoke. This might be the money one if they're able to catch this. Do have Queen of Pain, who was showing in lane briefly. Ember Spirit might be in a little bit of trouble here. We do have... the ultis are up, ready for it. Oh, very nicely done. Is going to back on out. I think that's a wise decision. Did he see them there? Or was that just sort of after the creep wave was dead?
No, he didn't even kill all the creep wave. It's just his sense. He feels that he's in danger because there's no one on the map.
Yeah. That makes sense. Darkseer, meanwhile, maybe not going to be able to. Well, he does blink away. So, quick fingers out of him, making sure he doesn't end up getting taken out. So across the board, pokes and prods, EWolves are going to have to keep these lanes pushed out. Obviously, there's no IO Legion commander like we saw in the first game that's just going to be able to rat you incredibly hard, but still definitely don't want to end up taking any extra structural damage that you don't need to. Meanwhile, they should know that Jenkins is here with the Ion Shell being applied to the creeps. Looks like they're going to be content to keep this lane on pushed out here and hopefully do something with this Lich. Put Ice Armor on the tower. Let's do it.
They need to just push out the lanes, I think. They want to push out the lanes and avoid what happened in the first game happen again. But this game is actually much safer compared to that game because Leviathan this time around doesn't have heroes that break your structures fast. Ember is not a hero that pushes very fast.
I guess also the flip side of that is that EWolves don't have great heroes for pushing out waves. I mean, you've got Queen of Pain, but she usually wants to be involved and in the middle of the fight. I guess that's where the X comes in from Kunkka, being able to X somebody back into the fight.
They should be able to push faster though. They have Gyro, Kunkka, all these heroes push fairly fast. Queen of Pain as well. Since she has the Aghanim, she can use her Sonic Wave to clear out waves. So I actually think that they can actually push a lot faster than Leviathan. They just need to make sure that they do not get caught out when they're trying to speed push with because Lion has dagger, right? Does he have dagger? No, he still doesn't have dagger. Okay, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a rough game for him so far. Had to go back for that bracer there. Lena is hanging out over here as well. Gyrocopter not going to quite catch sight of her. We did have off on the bottom lane the Winter Wyvern as well as the Ember Spirit ready to push on out and potentially catch somebody, but it's pretty difficult. Like, there's so much Like, they do have a good amount of catch. They just don't have the implements to be able to make use of it yet out of Leviathan. Like you mentioned, the Blink Dagger there. Winter's Curse, the long-range initiation. And it looks like they might finally have had enough and are ready to push on through this tier 2 tower. Lina is still up in the top lane pushing on out, but I feel like they're going to be able to take down this tower before she's able to do any real damage to the top lane.
They just got a Hex on Queen, so they want to go.
Oh, alright, this might be the moment right now. Lina has pushed out the top lane. Gyrocopter is up on the high ground. Does end up getting hit by that Arctic burn, but is going to also get the frost armor on top of him. Lina is continuing to just hit away at this tower here. At some point in time, they've got to send somebody back to deal with her. We are going to get the TP on back now by the Queen of Pain. She is going to toss on out the Hex. Sonic Wave maybe one time in a second. Okay. Oh, God, no. Oh, no. Oh, disaster.
Yeah, she should be fine because the X mark's running out. She just needs to use herself after she comes out from the Hex. The Sonic Wave is not going to be able to kill the Lina. The Queen needs to do 2 more right clicks.
Oh, jeez. This is an inopportune time to pause indeed. I mean, yeah, you're right. You said it right there that it's, it's 550 pure damage. Got 660 HP. Is going to also connect with the dagger though. That's the big thing. I don't think it's actually connected yet. All right. Okay, let's see how. Ladies and gentlemen, waiting for it. Dagger connects. Oh, Yule Scepter staying alive a little bit longer and able to survive on 25 HP. Oh, there's the TP back home, ready to push on up this high ground. Oh man, Yule Scepter, like you said, I was wondering if it was going to be enough with that last damage over there. They end up connecting onto Van as well as the Enchantress. All right, yeah, they're going to be backing up a little bit. Winter as a player, how does that affect you?
Well, you have to still play though, even if you get upset by that.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, DD now up on the Gyrocopter. He's going to have his MKB relatively shortly. Going to be able to take on out this big stack of Ancients here, and going to get another stack here as well. So, for the Gyrocopter, what do you feel like is the next item? They've already got BKB, they've already got MKB relatively soon. Do you think that Satanic is that option, or going straight for something like Butterfly?
Satanic is good this game. Because when he's pushing, he's taking a lot of chip damage from the Slide and the Wyvern, so having the Satanic to be able to heal those HP back up is actually very good for him. And I think every time they push, they need to hide the Queen of Pain, because the last push they are showing the Queen of Pain in the lane. That's why the Lina is able to push top, because when you don't see the Queen, when the Lina doesn't see the Queen, he can't push the top lane, because Lina, the Queen can actually catch him out and someone TPs in and she dies. So when they're pushing as 5-man, they need to hide the Queen of Pain so she doesn't show herself in the map, so the opponent doesn't know where's the Queen and they can't really split push.
Yeah, that's really dangerous. That Hex is just so dangerous in terms of its ability. I will mention real quickly also, the Darkseer here has Greaves on up, and they're starting to build into these more teamfight-centric items. I mean, obviously the pick-off with the Blink Dagger is there as well. Battle Fury up on Ember Spirit. Do you think that they're getting to a position where they're going to be able to take these team fights, or is there a tipping point for them? Is there a particular item that you feel like they need?
Maybe the next item on Ember. When Ember gets a damage item, then they'll be able to do a lot more in the team fights. But until that happens, I still feel like EWolves are in a much better position when it comes to team fights.
Yeah, that's... Let's see, the tier 2 tower now going to get pushed on down. I mean, it's worth noting as well, Gyrocopter, after taking that stack, is very, very well ready to go. Let's take a look. 10k net worth lead now for EWolves, as well as an EXP lead of around 2,500. The split push is going to be coming out, and Queen of Pain is sort of sitting to the back a little bit. She's going to end up TPing on back, but just for the refill of the bottle. Gyrocopter now as well, dealing a little bit of extra damage. So they were, I couldn't quite see, they were trying to hide the Queen of Pain in the back there still?
Yeah, I think they should be doing this more, because the moment they don't see the Queen, you see bottom, Leviathan had to back off, because Queen is the main ganker with the Hex. Yeah. I think this is something that the better teams or the more experienced teams would always prioritize in doing when they're actually grouping up as 5 heroes. They don't show all the 5 heroes at one go when they're pushing the tower, because when you see 5 heroes there, you just split push the other 2 lanes. and then you actually get a better trade-off.
Queen is hunting right now, wants to be able to find somebody. The TP into the trees. Oh god, Newsham's gonna be able to find his way out of here as well. So that was a little bit close. You did see the mark on the map to make sure that they showed that they wanted to go over there and are gonna be able to keep that going. So lanes abound. They're pushed on out. We again see this Ember Spirit with the Boots of Travel as well as the Remnant out behind him. He's going to be able to make his way out of here if any trouble does come towards him. But again, it's sort of starting to feel like it's just going towards the inevitable. Also, I like the play now of the Kunkka continuing to toss on out the X to just go anywhere where he doesn't feel at all comfortable, and even just to get the Bounty Rune off to the side there. Playing very safe.
In all 3 games, EWolves have been very diligent about getting a gem to the ward, so that's something that they've been doing really well in all the games. Getting the ward to make sure that they have vision control is especially important against Leviathan, which seems that every game they've been trying to split push and try to rat. So without the vision, it's going to be more difficult for them to actually try and split push.
Definitely. Well, and you take, I mean, like you mentioned it, their vision right now is so limited in terms of what they're actually able to see. We have consistently, there's actually an Ember Spirit Remnant up forward a little bit, but it's going to be fine. He's ready to come back on into this fight, actually. If they just commit the Queen right here, I don't know, maybe there's a chance they can get a pick off there. The Ember Spirit Remnant sitting so close. All right, it expires now. Not going to be able to do that. 4-man rotation? Maybe? Possibly? Jenkins? Gonna be okay? Alright, yeah, they're fine. They just want to keep on farming. They're perfectly fine with that.
Maybe at some point you want a lane ward as well for EWolves at top. You want to place a ward maybe somewhere around here so you can actually see if anyone's behind trying to drop iron shells, or you can actually know if there's anyone there trying to rat or trying to split push. Against this type of game, you actually want to have a lane ward around here. I don't think they have any wards left, I'm not sure. Let me see.
They also have the one spot up here again that's potential to go for.
The anti-Tinker ward.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could be decent to be able to find an Ember Spirit Remnant as well.
Yep. Could be useful. Yep.
It's a pretty good spot. The one down here on the bottom as well, I think, is in a little bit better position, but with no tier 2 tower, I don't think that they're going to really end up running into a situation where they'll find anybody there. Maybe they will, though. You never know. So Gyrocopter, Satanic MKB, BKB, Sanjanyasha. He's ready
scouting.
to...
Look at them, they're using the courier to scout if there's anyone.
Nice.
They know that Leviathan is trying to rat so much, so they're making sure that no one is here. Because when they are showing 5 heroes here, if anyone is hiding in the jungle, they can just come out and creep skip, remove your wave of creeps, and you can't push. So they are being very diligent in checking anyone is around.
That's pretty cool. Always good to see that.
Yeah, tired of the split push,
Yeah, why not? I'm tired of it too. Start playing.
Wow, the flames are real.
No, it's all good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean any of it. Kunkka's level 16 now, 17 as well. So Shiz have that ghost ship down, 40-second cooldown. That's where things start to get pretty ridiculous with that spell. You can start using it for farming if you want. Does look like the Queen of Pain is just staring down Flying Zebra. Do they not know each other are here? What the heck is going on? Felt like they might have known about this. Oh, that is not where you want to be, buddy. Is going to end up going away. I think that they thought that there was more follow-up behind the Winter Wyvern, but wasn't actually going to be there in time, so...
No, they didn't see the Winter Wyvern in the trees.
Okay.
There was no vision there.
Well, the Winter Wyvern jumped on out with jumped out with the Blink Dagger and then got hexed, and then the Quap ran away after the fact. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because... Yeah, it's how is that weird? It's fine because they know that the Wyvern wouldn't jump on the Queen if he hasn't have backup to try and kill the Queen. That's why they're running, and they have only 2 heroes there, and Enchantress has a gem, so she didn't want to lose his gem.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough, Winter.
Yeah. No, I'm just surprised. Why do you find it weird?
Well, I was a little bit confused because it seemed like the Winter Wyvern didn't know that they were there potentially or something. It just, like, if the Winter Wyvern was going to jump out, it seemed like it would have been for a Winter's Curse,
Yeah, he was trying to get the curse, but he got hexed. The Queen of Pain reacted very quickly, so he hexed the Wyvern first.
Gotcha. Alright. fully caught up now. Thank you very much for dealing with my ineptitude, Winter. It's always nice to have somebody who knows what they're talking about on the cast. So let's see. To the side, Smash again. They do pick up the Aegis finally, and they've put this one over on the gyrocopter this time around. Jenkins, BKB on the way as well.
The rats.
Actually taking out the tower as well, so... Oh!
Look at the rats.
Somebody.
They're looking for the rats.
Oh! Are they going to get this one? Nope, not going to be able to. No way to cancel that TP, and Enchantress, after placing down this ward up on the high ground, wasn't able to make it happen, but you see just how much that vision changes. It's so key in being able to find them.
Ember's actually going for stat item instead of damage. He's probably going for Skadi. He just wants to survive if he gets caught by Hex or X-Mark. No, Lincoln's actually, yeah, this is for the X-Mark.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned at the earlier stages how sort of impactful that can be, and we've seen it in terms of its ability. Also, I mean, you know, you mentioned the Hex and the X marks the spot. It's all really deadly.
Yeah, but I think that they are lacking in terms of damage though. They need the Ember to actually deal damage in team fights. Everyone else doesn't do a lot, like except for the Lina and the Lion ultimates. No one does a good amount of physical damage.
Yeah.
I just feel they needed more damage from Ember. We'll see whether they'll be able to win a team fight with the Lincolns.
Well, the other problem as well is, I mean, we've talked about it a lot this game, but since there hasn't really been a huge fight recently, the boat coming on out as well, like the damage is further decreased off the back of that. All right, Winter Wyvern does end up getting caught there by the Torrent and just torn apart. Van is very, very comfortable where he's at right now. He's got an Alpha Wolf. He's got everything that a gyrocopter could want. There is the tower going down. Winter Wyvern buys back, ready to potentially get back on into this one if they want. The Syrian Chains do connect onto the gyrocopter. He still has the Aegis on up. Atos is going to be the item picked up for the Lich, and a BKB on the Dark Seer as well. Continuing to hit away. There's a Winter's Curse. Vacuum on into it as well. Split Earth off the back of it, but there's the both that coming on in. The buff is so key in terms of being able to win this one. Jumping forward, Chain Frost. That's going to be a dead line almost instantaneously. Buyback by him. It looks like they want to try and commit for at least the range racks. They're going to be able to get it right now here, and the melee as well. Going to be able to create that little bit of separation that they need to get out of here. Hex on top of the Queen of Pain. She ends up falling. Van is still alive with the Satanic, so Lion ends up getting 1,000 gold off the back of that one. Jumping forward again is going to be the Dark Seer. He's trying to chase after this Enchantress. Isn't really going to be able to find him, and there is Van finally going to fall first time around. Do they have enough to take him down a second time? I believe so. Enchantress is here, but I don't think she can really do anything to keep him. Well, alright, never mind. This gyrocopter's terrifying. Oh god, Enchantress is falling. Queen of Pain jumps forward. Sonic Wave able to take down the Lion second time. That's a dieback. Ember Spirit now trying to create a little bit. Oh, is he going to be able to get out of there? Nicely done. Remnant away. Queen of Pain does have a blink up in 1 second, as well as a Hex, but isn't going to be able to get it. At the end of that team fight, relatively even with a little bit more into the favor of EWolves, but the big thing is that Barracks is down, and now they're comfortable taking another one. Oh, goodness gracious.
They forced the buyback.
Yeah.
I thought you were still gonna say stuff. So
it's all good. It seems to me like there's sort of with that big engagement right there, the BKB up on the gyrocopter, as well as just being able to Satanic through that first salvo of huge fight, and then also the damage reduction coming out from the Kunkka boat. They were able to sort of have enough sustain to keep alive through that team fight.
Yeah, it sort of neutralized the combo, the Vacuum Winter's Curse combo, because of the boat. It's a very good way of dealing with that combination with the Kunkka. I definitely agree. The boat is very, very useful in this game.
Yeah.
They still got the racks though, so it's all good for them. They expanded a buyback on the Queen. Yeah, the Queen bought back in the fight, but wasn't really useful because they already took the racks, so they wasted a buyback. But Leviathan had to spend a buyback as well on Lina, maybe, and the Lion. They spent 2 buybacks.
Yeah, it was a buyback on that Lion. They ended up dying also.
The Wyvern bought out as well. Yeah, 3. So
jeez,
it was a costly defense.
Well, they end up surviving through one of their Raxes, and now Ember Spirit, after that last fight, has actually been able to pick on up one of the small little crit sticks as well. So he's in a pretty good position. Gyrocopter, though, has also been able to pick on up an Eagle Song. So this is where things, I feel like, get a little bit scary. Smash does have his AC up. all of these heroes are starting to really accelerate into these next set of items here, and I feel like they're just going to be a tier above Leviathan in terms of what they're able to do.
That's why I felt the Ember needed to build more damage, because they're just not doing enough damage to win the team fights for Leviathan.
Ooh, EWolves Scepter gonna be able to catch this, maybe. Light Strike Array, the Sheep Stick did come out in time. There's the Vacuum back yet again. Can the Queen... No, there's a Laguna Blade immediately tearing her apart. So that's 2 quick kills for the on the Queen of Pain so far, after that last big team fight as well. And a whole lot of gold going back their direction. That being said, you take a look at the net worth lead.
They wasted a curse on an illusion.
Oh no! Disaster strikes. There's the X back on top of the Ember Spirit. Boat coming in as well. Is going to be able to remnant away from there though. BKB is popped for the Gyrocopter. Lion just has to look on in fear at this point. He actually killed Lion right there, just from the call down and the hit from the flat cannon. Lion is so squishy. Oh god.
That's a Rex, but they are able to get a melee Rex at top in return. But EWolves should be able to close out the game from here. Let's see. It's 4-on-4.
Alright, 4-on-4 fight. Round 2. Getting ready. Jenkins does have Vacuum Wall. He has Guardians in a few, as well as his BKB. Arctic Burn coming on down. Shibby with the BKB popped. Laguna Blade on top of the Gyrocopter, but the Santana gets popped. He's going to stay alive through this. No problem at all. Boat is coming out as well. The damage reduction abound. Chain Frost isn't going to do anything to Shibby, but the right clicks will. There's another call down at the end of all of it. They're taking so much damage here. Jenkins is going to be able to escape, but at the same time, these Relics are falling. Oh, maybe going to be able to make something happen here. The Ember Spirit, he needs a couple of lucky crits to make it happen. The Darkseer does take down the Lich at the end. There is the finger on top of Van. The boat buff is starting to wear off. They need to get out of here as quickly as possible. Remnant forward, Vacuum onto the Enchantress. She's going to end up going down, but it looks like there's going to be a couple of buybacks. Gyrocopter and Lich coming back into this one, if at all possible. They don't have Boots of Travel yet, except for on the Queen of Pain, who's back into here as well. And yeah, this is going to be enough. It looks like they are content to be able to push down these barracks. Can Ember Spirit do enough damage? Double of the little mini crit sticks. He really wants to be able to hit one of these. Is going to be able to get the Lincolns popped by the Queen of Pain, but look at all of the damage that's being dealt. Sonic Wave just yelling right into his face. Nice with the Winter's Curse. Is it going to be enough? The Force Staff keeping him alive a little bit longer. Van is still taking no damage from all of this. Somehow he's been able to survive through all of this. Maybe the Ember Spirit's going to be able to die, but Mega Creeps are down. The other barracks is down. Smash is just smashing on fools. There's another Chain Frost as well. They're all going down. Looks like it might be too much for Leviathan to come back from at the end of all of this. Elite Wolves to be securing their spot. Winter, how'd it look to you, man?
GG, well played.
G.
Elite Wolves were the better team though, like in the whole series I felt. I think they were just better in terms of execution. Most of the games I wouldn't say like they lost, they won because they had a better draft, they just played better. Like both teams have very different play styles, so I wouldn't say that one team outdrafted the other team. It's just more on Elite Wolves played better when it mattered most, and they executed far better than Leviathan. Leviathan made more mistakes in general throughout the series.
Yeah. Well, always sad to see somebody go, but we move on into the next stage of this tournament. More and more teams will be falling